Yeah, Godot forced me to use Blender. Obviously, not in a literal way, but I was able to learn something that I can definitely benefit from. You see, Blender is an open source software, which allows the user to make CGI message or models. Now, Blender being open source is already a plus, but there is so much that Blender can do, such as animating, rendering, modeling, and so much more. Now, you might be wondering, how does Godot contribute to this at all? Well, to answer that question, it's pretty simple. Before using Godot, I had a thought that game engines needed to give users the ability to model and animate message or objects. I didn't think some engines would rely on another software. I don't like when engines have to rely on outside sources, in my honest opinion, to have, results. It's not exactly a bad thing to rely on outside sources, but the cons are evident. Now, the pros obviously outweigh the cons, but let's address the negatives before we get to the positives, of course. As I was working in Godot pretty much like late last year, I wanted to work on a character model, but I needed a grasp on how modeling is on Godot. So I did some research and um, it turns out it's possible to model something, but it's not that useful from what I've seen, and it's not recommended. It's really complicated to say how this works, but you know, it's like I don't know how to explain it, but it's just not great to model in Godot. Um, I've done it. I tried to make something, but it's like you would use the building blocks to like make something new, or like an add-on is like what I'm trying to like say here. But if you're a new developer, I would recommend you don't model like with the building blocks in Godot. Like you can use it as a way to maybe give extra flair to your builds, I guess. For some things, but on a smaller scale. Um, but moving on, I was frustrated but happy at the same time that I got to use Blender, you know, because there's many cool animators and just cool people that use it, and it kind of just seeing the work just inspires me to like you know do more, and it's awesome. There's one problem though, which Blender is of course not easy to use when you're first getting into it, which is to be expected, but in due time I have adapted, with Blender, and I made some cool models for my game project. And as weeks passed, I've enjoyed creating meshes for Godot. And this is due to making models on Roblox Studio because, kind of playing with these blocks and, just putting things together and all that. I kind of had an affinity for building things. I kind of went to Studio to just kind of build and just goof around. And I know that Roblox Studio and Blender are vastly different, but just playing with these blocks allowed me to turn something like a small, just cubic mesh into something pretty awesome like this. Godot is a very strong engine, and there's still a lot I have to learn about it to make, just more cool projects. And thanks to Godot, I was able to use something I didn't anticipate, which is Blender. And now, with this powerful tool on my, disposal, I can make, my projects have more flair and set up just cool character animations or make launch trailers that are just awesome to look at, I guess. Um, but yeah, I don't really have much to say besides that I'm just thankful that, you know, a game engine that kind of had to rely on other, just outside sources to kind of make something cool, you know, it just allowed me to do more with like other things, like as in, just the other sources. Um, I wanted to make a long video, and I kind of anticipated this video to be long. It's one of my I wouldn't say it's my first time making a long script per se, but kind of is when it comes to YouTube. But thank you all for watching my first video. You know, it's been a while since um, I can just kind of like just express myself kind of just in a huge way like this. And YouTube is awesome. It's not the same as it once was, but I'm just glad to just pump content out there. And I hope that my future videos are more consistent, more consistent because like holy hell, this script is it feels very small, but I feel like a lot could have been done. But yeah. With all this said, thanks for watching and stay tuned for more. You can check out my Twitter or X in a link below. And I hope that my future videos have more quality than this one and also the first. And for the people that commented on my first video, thank you so much for the support. I don't know what else to say. Next time when I make a YouTube video, that's just me expressing things. I want to make sure that it's a lot more clean and more concise because I felt like it was all over the place. Um, and again, special thanks to Godot for just giving me just the ability to just do more with other just software like Blender. And I'm super excited to see what I can do with my game project. And yeah, I don't have much to say. Erosion out.